TJ in the city. Hey, TJ, you're on with Willard and Larry Krueger. What are you doing, TJ?
What's up, man? Hey, just ready to get off of work and get you guys on the radio in the car on the way home. Love the show.
That's the deal, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Wanted to just chime in because I know one of the things you guys talked about, Draymond, in that clip was he said, hey, we got it, but we don't got it. And I'm looking at the roster from last year. I'm like, all right, who doesn't have championship pedigree? And I'm like, all right, JTA's not there. Porter's not there. Bielitsa. But you got most of those guys still there. GP, right? I mean, Moody. Poole, Kuminga, they're all there. Kuminga got doghouse. Michael Green got doghoused at one point. DiVincenzo, they probably won't keep him because of the tax, because of the CBA. So I'm thinking, if you had to make some personnel, what do you think's really going to happen? I mean, you talk about the older guys. Clay had a terrible series. I'm just trying to see if they had to make any moves here. How do you think it's all going to, when all said and done, how do you think it's going to shape out?
Well, they're gonna have a pick right around 20, I think, in the draft. So they're gonna have a pick. And then as far as who can they get, I don't know. That's too far down the draft list to help to really say for sure who they can get. But they'll get a good player in the draft, and they'll get I would think they'll attempt to move Jordan Poole. I think Kuminga is a very coveted piece that they could definitely move. I think there's 5, 6, 7 teams in the league that would love to have Jonathan
I agree
Kuminga.
with that. Look, I think the Warriors can put together a little bit more of an attractive trade package than maybe people realize right now. It's not that it's not complex. There are not a ton of guys available. The finances are going to be tough. You got to have money coming back. But I do think, and the draft is nice, but while we're sitting here talking about how Steph, Clay, and Dre did not like giving so much responsibility to young players, I would be surprised if anything comes out of the draft that's going to immediately have an impact on this team. They need to make a deal that turns a couple of their young guys who have fallen out of favor, whether that's with their teammates or with the fan base, into somebody who can immediately contribute. I'm focused on 2 players, and they are OG Anunoby and Kristaps Porzingis. I think those 2 players are gettable. I think that they are interesting. One of them brings the size that you need. I'm not saying you can get both, but you got to pick, and I'll see about the availability. One of them brings size. The other one brings, that ability to not just make it about the 3-point shot and to get to the hole and be a swingman and be a plus defender and sort of be something like Klay Thompson used to be. And that's what I love about Anunoby. That would be my first choice. But look, he's been coming out of the mouths of Warrior fans for a long time now, and they have not been able to get their hands on him yet.
Well, and the zinger, Porzingis is interesting. My big concern with trading Poole, the one thing you have in Jordan Poole is you have a guy who's an enormous contract, but the one thing that you have is you have a healthy player. And I don't know that I would want to trade a healthy player for a Porzingis, though their contracts, I believe, probably do line up, because that's not the first time I've heard his name mentioned. But I would be very hesitant to trade Jordan Poole, who is a player who can play every game, for Porzingis, who almost guaranteed. Look at his games played. He's missed a lot of games in his career, so it's that would be a concern.
Porzingis and Poole make almost the exact same number next year.
Yeah, so
Porzingis just now. The other thing about Porzingis, or actually, wait a minute, hold on a sec. I'm looking at the contract from the start. He signed a 5-year, $158 million deal back in 2019. So he has a player option for next year at $36 million, and then he's expiring. So Porzingis is only 1 more year. And listen, Anunoby, same thing. He does not have a lot left on the contract. Fans don't want to hear this because it's the Golden State Warriors. But every single person inside the organization I've talked to for the last year has said the same thing. And they're trying to prep the fans for what the fans don't want to hear. And that is, money's an issue. Money's an issue. And so...
that is just so ridiculous.
What do you mean?
Well, the idea... What did Joe pay for the team? What's the team worth? That right there shows a massive, massive increase in his wealth. And so, yeah, I hear what you're saying as far as money is the issue. It's an expensive arena.
Not the issue, but an issue. Listen, I'm
but
not
he's made his investment back five times,
but
seven times.
He's also spent 5 to 7 times what some other teams are spending because of how far they are into the tax.
But it still doesn't equate the amount of revenue the amount of money that he's made in paper gains.
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying that they don't want to get into a long-term situation of a $500 million payroll. They've openly said they're not doing it. So you could be mad at them for it. I think it's silly because they've spent more than anybody. Windhorse last year called it a checkbook championship.
Right, which was a ridiculous statement there, too.
It was. But my point is this. It might make sense for the Warriors to turn Poole's number into a contract that doesn't have nearly as many years left on it.
Or turn them into 4 players.
Right, because it provides flexibility. And that is Farhan's favorite word. So I know a lot of people don't like it. But yes, teams want it. Teams want financial flexibility.
It's going to be hard to get because look what next year lines up at. Steph Curry's on the bill for $51.9 million. Clay's due to make $43.2. Wiggins 24.3. Draymond right now, if he opts in, 27.5, but maybe they redo that. But it's still going to be a $20 million deal.
Yeah, it's going to be 20 to 25 anyway.
You got Peyton, who's probably not going anywhere since they just acquired him for, he's making 8.7. Looney makes 8.5. That's a screaming deal. Kuminga is dealable. DiVincenzo's probably going to opt out. Poole's making 28.7, but as we just stated, I think that's the guy that's going to move. That'll be my guess. Moody makes 3, almost 4, so he's got a movable deal. And then, of course, guys like Baldwin, Rollins, Lamb, Jerome, those guys are movable if they're back. Those guys are all supposed to be back. So, they have basically, it's not real hard to understand. I mean, it's not, they don't have if you really are intent on retaining Curry, Clay, and Draymond, then it's just a matter of who moves between a handful of other guys. Kuminga and Poole are at the top of that list.
Yeah, but it's not even necessarily about getting all that money off the books for this coming season. Because if you trade Poole and Kuminga, you're going to need a pretty much similar amount of money coming back in return anyway. But if Porzingis or an Anunoby, if they are expiring after 1 year, that lines it up with Clay's deal. And maybe you have money then coming off the books that you can figure out. When they say we're going with the big 3 going forward, nobody came out and said we're going with the big 3 for 3 more years. They're coming back with the big 3 next year. But I don't know about Klay Thompson and when his 43 comes off the books after next year. We'll see. Do they sign him to something that lines up with Steph, or do they just go ahead and play into a lame duck year? I don't know. But they're going to want some of these things to expire a little bit quicker, and so you might do 2 birds with 1 stone. You might get older and more experienced and gain some flexibility in the process. That's my guess as to what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be very, very difficult to build if you're going to keep all 3 of these guys. It just looks like it could be very difficult.
It will.
And it's going to take gymnastics, of the highest order on the cap to make this work, because you're going to have Curry, Thompson, and Green all back at huge dollars plus Wiggins. That takes up so much of your payroll. And how are you gonna even turn anybody else into the kinds of pieces that you're going to need to compete for a title?
Well, I think when you're selling to your fans that something's about money, it better be about people not named Steph, Clay, Dre, because that's what you can't sell to your fans. Yeah, we wanted to keep the greatest thing that's ever happened to this organization together, but we just couldn't afford it. That's what you can't do, in my opinion, right? Like, okay, we got rid of Jordan Poole. We got rid of James Wiseman. That deal, people don't realize how much money that saved when they changed James Wiseman into Gary Payton going forward. You can do that when it's bit pieces on the roster. You can't do that with the big 3.
I don't know that your fan base is going to want to hear anything about how your financial limitations, because it's very, very, very expensive arena. I mean, it's enormously expensive to go to the arena. It's enormously expensive to eat anything or drink anything at the arena. So it's all relative. I don't think if the Warriors talk too much about money, I think they're going to really turn off their fans.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it
their
a lot,
fans
but-
their fans are paying top penny, top dollar.
But I do think that with what they've done in the past, I think it's fair for them to say we don't want to do a $500 million payroll. I think that's
They're almost already there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it every year. So, Spaz in the city. Hey, Spaz, what are you doing?
Oh, look. What's up? Hey, I just been sitting here kind of just like upset a little bit at what my guy's been saying. I can't touch on everything, but I don't understand what's up with the Steve Kerr, like, questioning. You know what I mean? Oh, Curry's, I think this year was the first. Like, please, do y'all know we haven't never lost a series to a Western Conference team ever until the other day? You know what I mean? Also, just two more things real quick. The Kuminga thing, we definitely want to see Kuminga play. I would have switched Kuminga with Poole because Poole, I don't know who he is. He's a prima donna. Nobody on our team is a prima donna. I don't know where Poole's getting this from. And lastly, the Steve Kerr just questioning. All he do is win, y'all. We used to be so cheeks. All he do is win. I'm going to take y'all answers off the air, though, all right? Sure.
Speeds, appreciate it. Trading in Jonathan Kuminga, like Poole out, Kuminga in. Look, I get it. Everybody likes everybody more than they like Jordan Poole. That's just the way. I mean, that's the nature of this. Steve Kerr was on this show 2 weeks ago and said they were very aware that Jordan Poole is a lightning rod for criticism. I don't know if your phone is the same as mine during games. It's Poole, WTF, Poole, WTF, what? Poole, WTF. It's constant. So they get that. He gets that. We get that.
We just get so many images of him trying to mug for calls. He has a terrible relationship with the refs.
Totally.
It never works.
But let's not act like other people on the bench can do what he does. Like, I still believe this, and the result in this series proves it. They need him.
Well, they need him to do what he does well.
This particular team needed him to play well.
But he's not doing what he does well, and he's doing a lot of what he doesn't do well.
And they lost.
Right.
And that's why he's probably going to play on a different team next year. Yeah. They need him to do well, and he didn't do well.
And I don't know if he's going to play on another team next year because I got to see I know there's a lot of people here that would like to see him moved. I don't see anybody else who's like, give me that guy. I mean, they may have paid him so much, so exorbitantly that they've devalued him as an asset. I mean, $28.7 million. Something tells me you're not going to get a player who's either healthy or in his prime. For that much money, you're going to wind up having to take some bad contract probably back.
His name is Otto Porter.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's one. Maybe
Poole and a first-round pick for Otto Porter and OG Anunoby. Who says no?
Maybe Masai.
They're the Raptors. Maybe
he probably would push back on that. Let me see if that even works.
The Raptors are going to blow it up.
18.5 for Anunoby
and 6.5 for Otto.
Yeah, that still doesn't add too. It's going to have to be some.
Well, they don't have
player.
to be. They don't have to be exact.
No, but they have to add
the
within.
percentage?
I think it's like within. Is it 85, 90%?
Yeah. What do you got?
75%.
75%.
So that does it. It's 27 and 23. That works, right?
It's 30, right? Isn't?
Poole's 27 first year. I think that deal's doable.
I can check it.
I think that deal's doable. Put it in the trade machine.
Put it in the trade machine.
Where's the trade machine? Poole and a first-round pick for Anunoby and Otto Porter.
Poole's number is 28.7 next year.
It is?
Yeah, 28.7 next year. 30, the 30.9 the following year. So 28,
I still think that works.
28.7 going out. And you've got Anunoby at 18 coming back.
And Otto Porter at 6.5.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do I got Poole's number at
I'm looking at Hoops Hype.
Base salary 27.4.
18.6 for Anunoby and 6.3 for
You're adding
Porter.
in his incentive.
I'm just looking at
there's a $1.25 incentive. $1 million, that is. He doesn't get $1.25.
Well, I mean,
there are days where I'd like to give him $1.25 after the game, but yeah. Thank you. Good job, Jordan.
And Poole and Porter's deal ends next year, so
He's got player option.
he would be
player option for next year, which after missing most of this year, I bet he will exercise.
Right.
So does Anunoby, and I wonder, because that's kind of the sticking point, is why Toronto may not want to keep him, is because he wants close to a max, or at least something close, something near that. He has a player option after next season, OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
Where the Warriors get close to him, giving him something like
maybe
a
maybe
contract?
not. But see that then now you've got your flexibility. Let's see what Anunoby looks like. Clay's deal is up at that point. Like now you're figuring things out. I don't know. This isn't going to be easy for the Warriors. There's no perfect deal, but that's one that I've heard get whacked around with a tennis racket. Certainly by my friends, by people I talk to. And, I'm no expert on the inner workings of the Raptors right now. I know they want to blow it up. It's not working. And that name's been out there.
Well,
they were after him at the deadline. They didn't get him, but they tried.
And Porter's personality fits, so it's not as big of a risk because you know that he fits in. What was his injury this year?
Gosh, I couldn't even.
Why did Otto not play?
I couldn't even give you the.
Because he was nice. I mean, you're talking about a guy who shot 40% plus from three and also rebounds the basketball and knows how to play.
Left foot. Season-ending injury, surgery, whatnot. Did he ever play?
No, I don't think he played.
Yeah, he did. He did play. I do not know how many games. I'll look that up. He did play. He averaged 5.5 points for the Raptors this year. So his number of games this year, answer is 8. Played 8 games for the Raptors this year.
Wow. 8 games. Now, if he's got plantar fasciitis, you may want to take he is 29. He's got some good mileage.
But even if you're just taking a bad contract just to get Anunoby, you do it.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if Otto Porter doesn't play? Take it. For $6 million, if you get Anunoby instead of Poole, I'd do that. Do that.
The guy that I'm wondering about, since they don't have a lot of options, what's Wiggins' future?
I think Wiggins still fits.
I think he fits, but as far as trade talks, I could see him being coveted.
Coveted for sure. I don't think the Warriors want to give him up. Is he in the conversation if the deal ends up being a massive one? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the scenarios are that are going to develop. If the Sixers suddenly decide they don't want Joel Embiid anymore, then yeah, we could talk Andrew Wiggins and Poole and Kuminga and picks, and you can keep going on and on. That starts to get into a very, very high rent district, though, if you're talking about all 3 of the Warriors' tradable pieces, which I feel are Poole, Kuminga, and then by extension Wiggins.
You're gonna need a good GM. Are they gonna have a good GM?
Yeah. More on that in a little bit. Let's go back to the phones. Jonathan in the city, on with Willard and Kruger. Hey, Jonathan, what are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm just cleaning the garage, spring cleaning things.
Exit interviews in your garage, huh?
Everything's got to go.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I told the missus. Stay out of the garage. Otherwise, I won't be able to get rid of all these things. If you're here, we can save that. That doesn't need to go.
What
am I doing here?
What you do? You say to her, "Hey, look, I'll move anything out of there, but I got 3 big items that I'm keeping. I got my own big 3."
I just totally locked it.
Jonathan's right. If you're doing any clean out, there's one rule. I'm doing it by myself. Kids, nope. You cannot look at, because 2 things happen. A, everybody wants to keep something, and B, everyone ends up just sitting in a circle and going down memory lane.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that picture.
Oh, look. I've got a box of baseball cards.
Trash. I'm doing it. Everybody leave, and when you come back, it's all going to be clean, and you have no idea what ended up in the trash
2
can.
words.
The only way to do it.
Garage sale. Garage sale.
Oh, gosh. That's a pain in the rear, too. All right, Jonathan, what else did you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to ask you guys, is Brook Lopez gettable? I mean, it's obviously we need to get bigger. The league has gone bigger again. I mean, we used to have an advantage because we got the guys that could shoot the ball lights out, but everybody's doing that now because they've caught up. I mean, that's the way to go. It's the Steph Curry era. He introduced that to the league, and then the whole league's doing that now. So we need to get bigger. So I'm wondering, Brook Lopez, OG makes sense because we're the Bay Area and his name's OG, so that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering, hey, you think guys Clay would be willing to take a pay cut? Because I don't think he's a $43 million type of player anymore. I mean,
well,
before,
this is one of those things that gets brought up a lot, and it's an opportunity for us to sort of educate. You cannot restructure contracts in the NBA. You cannot take a pay cut. Klay Thompson cannot go, you know what, really sorry about that last game. I know I'm supposed to make $43 million. How about if we just make it 27? Does that feel better for everyone? Can't do that. Can't restructure it. Can't turn it into a bonus to manipulate the cap like they do in the NFL. Can't do any of those things. Brook Lopez is an unrestricted free agent. He is heading into his age 35 season. I don't think he's going to command a whole lot of money on the market, but man, the players that the Warriors are going to be able to go after in free agency are going to have to be very, very inexpensive. So I don't know. But Brook's there. He's just an unrestricted free agent. So
and what did he pull this year? With the Bucks?
13.9. 13.9 with the Bucks. Yeah, he's coming off. He's just finished a 4-year, $52 million deal.
Yeah, 13.9. 13.9 is what he made.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, he's a big man who likes living in the Bay Area.
That describes a lot of people.
That's
that
right.
Describes a lot of people. He's large, and he likes the Bay Area.
He likes the Bay Area.
He likes nice weather. I don't know. I don't know. And by the way,
I'm not a huge Brook Lopez fan, are
well,
you?
I just think that we're all going to be focused on size because of what just happened. But that player needs to be a well-rounded player as well. I don't just want some body that's going to sit down there and block shots and in theory, if you've got another non-scoring big, well, how do you put Draymond and Looney on the floor with them? That's too many non-scoring bigs, right? There were times against the Lakers where you already, and even the Kings, there were times where having two on the floor at one time was too many. It just allows the defense to do too much to throw at the three-point line and Steph and Clay.
Makes me wonder, maybe Atlanta, because they got John Collins, and he can score a little bit.
You're talking about a trade partner?
Yeah, trade partner. I could see Atlanta being a good trade partner. They got a lot of guys who make a lot of money.
The NBA seems to have teams like that sometimes.